Hey Legionnaires, you are looking at the effects of AMD FSR 3 implemented in Modern Warfare 3. This isn't any mods or anything, this is now built into the game. It was patched today or yesterday depending on when you are looking at this, but you can see here that running at 6GB frame buffer or 6GB UMA, that it is running fantastically well at 1200p, and this is at the 25W performance mode, as we know that there's still some issues with the 30W TDP, but running at 120Hz at 1200p, even at that 25W range, is running fantastically well. So I reset this to recommended on quality, which does set AMD FSR 1 by default, but we're going to switch that to AMD FSR 3, and I'm also going to put it up to the quality mode. Again, you can tweak this if you want to get a little bit higher, but this is generally the way I play a lot of these games, as I do prefer the quality preset with the minor dip in the frames per second. So first of all, we're going to start without the frame generation on, but just FSR 3 mode, and you're going to see some of the differences here, and then we'll switch frame generation on. So for the most part at 1200p with AMD FSR 3 on quality, it does seem to stick fairly stably around the 60 frames per second mark. We do dip into the 50s occasionally, but the frame time does bounce around between kind of 12 and 20, which is not fantastic. It does switch around all over the place, and you have to forgive my controller gameplay here. I'm not a controller player at the best of times, but also there is a minor input delay on my capture card, so this doesn't bode very well for FPS games in general. So if I turn frame generation on, sometimes even switching the graphics settings, I have hit this bug in Modern Warfare 3 on several of the handhelds, that the graphics just go absolutely haywire. This isn't anything to do with FSR 3, this is just a bug in the game. So just switch the graphics mode off of like FSR 3 if it was on that to any of the others. And then when you switch back and apply that, it will then fix the graphics, and then you can just go and set it back to whatever you were trying to set in the first place. So let's turn frame generation on and keep it at that quality settings. Unfortunately, terminal finished by the time I was messing around with the testing, but we all know how chaotic shipment is, so you can enjoy some shipment gameplay here with frame generation on that FSR 3 quality mode. You can see that we are bouncing anywhere between 70 and 100 frames per second, but we're not going anywhere near as close to that 60 frames per second that we were seeing a minute ago. You also notice that the frame times have also halved, so these are now down into the 5 to 15 range. So it's most of the time sticking around that 10 to 12 milliseconds, meaning even in those dips of FPS, we are getting much better frame times, and it does feel much smoother. Now, I did also plug in a keyboard and mouse for this map, so I did notice much less of input latency when the FSR 3 frame gen is enabled, and it did feel very smooth. It almost negated the input delay that I have from the capture card once I had enabled frame generation. So this is a fantastic technology. I can't wait to see this in other games implemented for Legion Go, as this will make things so much better in general. Imagine this in slower games like Cyberpunk 2077 or Hogwarts Legacy. The frame generation will be absolutely fantastic. Let us know in the comments below if you're going to dive into Modern Warfare 3 and try this out, or whether FPS on the Legion Go is still a bit too much for you. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.